Hey, howdy everyone, and welcome to the Saturn Slam review. Big week this week. We got
Yeah,
not one, not two, but three wrestling shows to talk about
it was a
today.
full 6 hours of media digestion to go through.
Yeah, it. I watched on 2 consecutive days, 3.5 hours of wrestling.
Yeah. I was watching during my lunch break. I'm like, when can I squeeze this shit in? Gotta get all the wrestling in. Gotta get it all in.
Ha ho. All In was a show, the self-finance show from Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks from the Sears Center in not quite Chicago. From what I understand, it's located about 25 minutes outside the city limits.
Still, they'll call it Chicago anyway because no one cares.
Yeah. So overall, the show was good. It wasn't anything that blew me away. It was better than Backlash or Extreme Rules, but I'm not sure it was any better than SummerSlam.
Yeah. If we were to compare these to food, make a food analogy here, bad WWE cards are like bad McDonald's food or bad big company fast food where it's perfectly controlled and things are it comes out as a very polished product, but it's just not great for you and it's gross. Whereas this was it was like a diner when they serve you bad food, and
Yeah.
it's because they put their heart into it, but they're just not good cooks.
Yeah, it looked pretty good from a production standpoint. The biggest gripe I had production-wise is the crowd was mic'd very poorly.
Yes, it felt dead. I'm sure it was hopping.
You could see people standing up, jumping, shaking babies, kissing their neighbors, but you couldn't hear it. It was a weird disconnect.
And then they would get on the mic, and you'd be like, "Chris Jericho, I'm calling out you." I'm like, "What? The mic? Can't you just feed the mic into the feed?"
Yeah. But I've seen a lot of indie shows attempt to stream and record, and this is better than most. Which it ought to have been. If they put this on pay-per-view, it better be pay-per-view quality.
Yeah.
There was a pre-show called 0 Hour. It aired exclusively on WGN America. We did not watch at that time, so we did not see it. I'm a little pissed off that they put the SoCal Uncensored and Briscoes match on the pre-show, because that was one I was actually looking forward to.
And it slipped away.
Yeah, so I didn't get to see that. They went about 12 minutes from what I heard. It was good. Flip Gordon won the over-budget Battle Royal in disguise as a luchador. He was taken out by Bully Ray before the match started, but got his comeuppance by last eliminating him. And that would not be the last we saw of either man on this show.
True. As a reward, Flip Gordon would go on to get his name wrong on the card as Flip Gordon with an A. I was like, I like Flip Gordon. I saw him once before at Wrestling Under the Stars in Albany. It was great. And I look at the card. I'm just like, Flip Gordon? Wait, what? And it comes out. He's Flip Gordon.
Gordon.
I was like, oh, that makes sense. It's all there.
It's all in. It's all in the name.
It's all in. So this started pretty well. It was a good start.
Yeah, we had kicked off with Matt Cross and MJF. They had a perfectly acceptable indie match. It was short. It was concise. Matt Cross, who is probably best known for his work in Lucha Underground as Son of Havoc. He put on a good show. MJF is the current CZW World Champion. He did not come out with his belt. In fact, with the exception of the people in the main event, no one had their belts. I don't know if that was like a rules thing. You would think CZW and Impact would want to have their championships on, such a big show.
Yeah, and everyone has belts and stuff, but
Good
no.
exposure. Matt Cross won with a shooting star press, right?
Yes, that feels right.
I don't remember the finish exactly, but it was a fine match.
Yes, it was a fine match. It's a long card. I remember as we get more towards the end, I'll have watched it more recently.
Yeah.
And I'll remember more.
Yeah, this was a 2-day viewing affair for me. Yeah, so it was perfectly fine. I'll give it, like 2 3/4 star.
Yeah, 2.5 stars.
Christopher Daniels wrestled Stephen Amell. Last time we saw Stephen Amell wrestle was SummerSlam 2015. He was in a tag match with Neville against Cody Rhodes as Stardust and Wade Barrett. None of those people wrestle for WWE anymore.
No. Oh, it's so strange.
Yeah, weird times we live in. This match was... It was a match. That's for sure. Stephen Amell, for what was his 3rd ever professional wrestling match, didn't look terrible.
Yeah, he made it happen.
He definitely is... You could tell he was green. Let's just say that. It showed. Yeah. He was out of position on some things. And Chris Daniels did his best, but Chris Daniels, as good as he is still 47 years old and a little past his prime. So
you gotta work together.
Can't really carry people like he used to. Stephen Amell at one point hit what they called a Falcon Arrow. It was it was not really a Falcon Arrow. He just kind of picked him up in a front chancery and dropped him forward.
Put him down the general area.
Yeah, they traded some big moves. Chris Daniels hit multiple best moonsault evers. One he way overshot his target.
Yes, and they're like, he didn't get all that one. I'm like, I do like the commentators. The commentators did some good stuff. Well, we had Excalibur.
Excalibur was very good. Don Callis is always great.
Don Callis is great. Wow.
And I don't remember who the main. He was okay. He was kind of like guests. Yes, some guests were better than others. The women did not add much to the commentary booth.
No. It's okay.
But yeah, so Christopher Daniels finally won with a second best moonsault ever. Did not hit the Angel's wings once. Stephen Amell made a splash by crashing and burning through a table, and that kind of led into the finish there. It was it was good by celebrity match standards, but a little below average by professional wrestling standards. I'll give it 2 stars.
1.5.
Then we had Tessa Blanchard, Chelsea Green, Madison Rayne, and Britt Baker, who came out to Adam Cole's theme music.
As they said.
I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I was told they were dating. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, they both, everyone in this match paid homage to their significant other. Chelsea Green at one point hit a broski boot. Peter and I are divided on this match. I really like this match. I think this was my second favorite match of the card.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it because, I don't know, maybe it might have been residual from like hearing some people talk about other like multi-man matches, or in this case multi-woman matches. It felt like, to me, sort of a revolving door experience. It wasn't strictly like that for the whole time. They got out and they did stuff. It was a bit of a
spot fest. I'll admit that, but it was very impressive. Chelsea Green, I would say, had a star-making performance. I don't know what it is about how she does the unprettier, but it looks fucking nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And oh wait, no, that was Mae Young Classic. I'm getting this confused. I'm getting some of this confused with Mae Young Classic. I was like, there's a nice shining wizard in that one.
no, yeah, we'll get to that later. Fucking, this is the first time I've seen most of these girls work. I've seen Chelsea Green before. This is my first time seeing Tessa Blanchard, who, again, is your current Impact Women's Champion. Why she didn't come out with her belt, I don't know.
And they all hugged at the end.
Yeah, that was the thing that I didn't like, is after the match, they all, it was a play, guys. We all had fun together.
Come on now.
But the action was good. It was undeniably great action. One of the more exciting women's matches I've seen in a long time. Well, I mean, not really, because we were in the building for Brooklyn not that long ago. But yeah, this was definitely good. Tessa Blanchard definitely is someone you can build a women's division around. Chelsea Green, like I said, had a star-making performance. Madison Rayne held her own. Britt Baker didn't screw anything up too bad, except at the end. I think this was the planned finish. I'm not sure, but she went to break up the pin after Tessa hit the hammerlock DDT and was late. I don't know if that was the plan, because Tessa was late breaking up a couple pin attempts throughout the match also. I don't know if that was part of the psychology of the match or whatnot.
I don't know. Put a little dressing on it. Yeah, that, I don't know. The botches and the spot fest, or the maybe botches, I don't know. The ambiguity of it all. It didn't sell me as much. You probably might have to watch this one for yourself and be like, I loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
That seems to be, from the consensus I've been pulling together, opinions on this match are kind of divided. People either really liked it or they really didn't like it. And it's not like the same sort of divide you have with a lot of women's matches, where it's like people who will say anything the woman did was great because they're the women and hooray for women doing things.
All women are queens.
And then you have the if she's the thought crowd who won't give the women any credit. And then you have the people who are generally tend to be closer to the don't give them credit category because they fairly evaluate it as a wrestling match. And a lot of the times, sorry to say it, they're just not great matches.
Not stacking up.
On the main Mae Young Classic, we'll talk about it. A lot of these matches were just okay.
Yep.
So
it'll probably be a split rating on this. I'm gonna just give this one another 1.5.
I'm going to go a full 2 stars higher and give it a 3.5.
Nice.
Cody Rhodes. They just call him Cody, but I'm going to call him Cody Rhodes because fuck WWE, can't sue me.
American Nightmare.
He came out with listen to this motley crew. His wife Brandy Rose, DDP, Glacier, Tommy Dreamer, and his dog Pharaoh.
Yes. He's half wolf,
who was remarkably well behaved. Like, he didn't even fucking pee on the mats. That was a very good dog.
Good boy, Pharaoh. Best worker in this card.
Honestly. He wrestled Nick Aldis, the former Magnus from TNA, for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. This match had a really great story going into it. And from what I heard in the building, the crowd was fire for this entire thing. On TV, it did not come across like that.
No. Again, like the crowd, guys, a little hint for next time.
What I heard was when Cody, spoiler alert, won the title, the crowd went nuts. And you could see them reacting big to it. But it just was like eerily quiet.
Yeah. On the background. And this was a pretty fucking intense match.
It was a little overbooked, a little slow. Cody is a big name on the indie scene now, largely because of his affiliation with Bullet Club. He is not now, nor has he ever really been, a A+ work rate guy. And Nick Aldis, this is probably the best I've ever seen him. Add that to a little bit of the overbooking with them holding up the fake X sign, which never do that to get heat. That's a legit thing for when people are really hurt, and in my opinion, should never be used in the story of a match.
It's like a safe word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what the deal was. So Cody comes off the top rope, and Nick Aldis meets him with a forearm. He's down on the ground. Earl Hebner goes out to check on him, throws up the X. DDP runs down, and he's down for a while. And they show Cody's face a couple of times when he's down, and he looks fine. Sean Daivari comes out and starts hassling the Hoff. He shoves DDP, and he's talking smack to Earl Hebner. DDP rolls into the ring, hits a diamond cutter on him, rolls back out.
Rolls out.
And then checks back on Cody. What I think is that DDP either had the razor and forgot to give it to Cody the first time, or did the blade job for Cody.
Okay, so you think it was okay? I was like, was this real color, or was this
Oh no, this
else?
was definitely a blade. Like
Okay.
you can tell by how even it was across there and how quickly it clotted up. This was a definite blade job. He did it to recreate the image of when his dad won the title. That's why he has the blonde hair and he had the blade job.
Oh, I didn't get it, so I was just like, oh, he's got color now. Is that real?
Yeah. So they wrestled a little bit more. Cody hit the crossroads, but Nick Aldis kicked out, and they traded moves, came off the ropes. Nick Aldis went for a sunset flip, and they did the finish to the Bret Hart British Bulldog match from SummerSlam 92. Cody hooked the legs down, pinned him down real tight, got the 3 count, new NWA heavyweight champion of the world. Probably the best guy that the NWA could put that title on. I think it works out for both of them. It was a good story here. I mean, this match had a really great story, but the wrestling part of it fell a little short for me.
Of course, it had a great story. They put a bunch of the old good stories together.
Yeah, they pretty much just did Dusty Rhodes wins the NWA title from Ric Flair 2.0. Only Cody, I mean, he's probably a better wrestler than his dad, but Nick Aldis is no Ric Flair.
Yes. It's a soft reboot, guys.
It really was. This was the Amazing Spider-Man to the Spider-Man.
Get Andrew Garfield out here.
No,
Oh.
don't do that. But yeah.
Did he wrestle? No. Answered.
The crowd popped big, apparently. I couldn't hear it, but I could see it. Everyone celebrated. It was a good, feel-good moment. And then we moved on. 3 stars, I'd give this.
3 stars. Yeah.
Then we moved on to Hangman Page versus Joey Janela in a Chicago street fight. This was the second best Chicago street fight I've seen in recent months.
I want to give a -4 to the segment, though. -4 stars.
The match was okay. It was every indie death match you've ever seen. There was one spot that almost made me vomit when fucking Page gave Janela a burning hammer onto a ladder bridge.
Yeah.
I audibly screamed and then retched. He survived, though. Survived enough to take a... what's the name of his finish?
Oh, fuck. It was Redemption or something? Crossroad.
No, no, Cody's is the crossover. Page's was like the rights something, last rights.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like it's like an airplane crash pile driver. He gave him that once on the apron, and then again off the top of a ladder fruit table. Joey Janela, I hope he's saving his money because he's not going to have a very long career if he keeps working matches like this.
Yes. And of course, the most controversial spot, because of what it represents in our soul, was who are we? Hangman Page yells at a boot and then gets super kicked in the face. Yes, they were going to suffocate him with a plastic bag, but no, there was a boot inside. And this boot was a symbol of the darkness.
So if you watch Being the Elite, this all makes more sense to you. I don't watch Being the Elite. I'm not a big fan of the Young Bucks. Why would I go watch their YouTube show? I do, however, hear Dave Meltzer try to recap Being the Elite every week on Wrestling Observer Radio, so I'm a little bit up to speed on the story. It's kind of like reading the New York Post.
I saw the promo. It
I
told
got
me
the
everything.
gist.
Yeah, I got the gist.
So Hangman Page murdered Joey Ryan with a telephone.
Because of his big dick.
Because reasons, sure. Jealous of the penis, I guess. Then he proceeded to go insane from the guilt, and his cowboy boots started talking to him. He threw those out and was walking around barefoot for a while, and that's what the items in the plastic bag were all about. The phone, the murder weapon, and the cowboy boots. And then after the match, the lights went out. We got a smash cut to a dead Joey Ryan on the bed in the hotel room.
Some nice red paint on his face.
And it panned down to his crotchal region. And he started to rise from the dead, starting with his penis.
Living wood. And then proceeded. Yeah. The penis jokes. How many penis jokes can Big Boy Wrestling Show make? I'll tell you what. 8 man-sized penis jokes in giant penis costumes walking out like the fucking color guard of this goddamn orange, I don't fucking know, pink boy with his lollipop and look at his dick and porn star stash coming out here. Give me, how many licks does it take to get to the center of this awful fucking segment? I'll tell you, 0. We're just there.
Yeah. Like they did a parody of an Undertaker entrance where the penis druids came out and heralded the arrival of Joey Ryan, who confronted Page, gave him the dick flip, which is just, I've never been a big fan of Joey Ryan. And it's not just the dick flip stuff. Like, before he started getting over with this, I remember him in TNA, watching him and being like, I don't understand the appeal. He's on his best day, an average wrestler.
He's got to get by in his charisma, though.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. And if that's your thing, look, I've talked to people who absolutely love this and who defend it to the death, but honestly, this was awful. This was horrible, horrible stuff. And this whole show really, in some ways, kind of pointed out the hypocrisy of a lot of these so-called hardcore wrestling fans. Because if WWE did a segment even half this bad, it would have been crucified.
Nailed up on a post.
But a lot of
remember
people
the obstacle course? Remember with all the shit they got for that?
Yeah, and that was a trillion million times better than this fucking piece of horse shit.
Dick flips him off, and then the penis men Oompa Loompa carry him style out. I was ready for the fucking song and dance.
Come with me and you'll see a world of OSHA violations.
Oh, yeah. You know, the thing about indie wrestling, sometimes they're just they're indie because they're not good.
Yeah. This felt super out of place on the show. I know they had to pay off this angle because they've been building it up on being the elite. But, you know, even if they built up an angle, you can still build up a bad angle. Remember the higher power? That was a bad angle. But they built it up.
Did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I laughed at the segment. I will screen cap and take videos of the segment and send it all over the internet being like, this is wrestling in 2018. Are you ready yet?
I laughed, but the same kind of laugh I laughed when the doctor told me that he recommended Tommy John surgery for my elbow. Was kind of like a kind of laugh. Yeah, I was not a fan of that. And the whole show was running late. Now, I know a lot of that was from the Okada scroll match. That went a lot longer than it was supposed to. But this was a good 5-6 minutes. You could have cut from the show and had more time for the main event.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had Jay Lethal.
I was to call that 3 stars. 3.5. Just for the match. The segment.
Yeah, just the match I'll give 3. It was all right. Better than average. I'm a sucker for weapons matches. And as far as those go, it's pretty good. Hangman Page is going to be a big star someday. Joey Janela might die in a wrestling ring one day.
He's the bad boy.
Jay Lethal was walking down the hall. Someone handed him Randy Savage sunglasses from his Black Machismo days. He wasn't sure what to make of these and then slapped them on the shoulder. And he turned back into Black Machismo. They hit Pomp and Circumstances, and he came out accompanied by Leapin' Lanny Poffo, Randy Savage's brother.
And I was doing Randy Savage fucking impressions the whole time, especially when Flip Gordon came out and they were talking about the National Guard. I'm like, oh, some people say the National Guard's the weakest branch. Oh, but this guy says that's the strongest because they got the home field advantage, brother. They're fighting on American soil. Yeah, brother.
Yeah, brother. Fighting on American soil. Yeah, they were all doing it. Lanny Poffo probably has the best Randy Savage impression ever.
As he should.
As he should, growing up with the guy. And Jay Lethal does a pretty good one, too. Not as good as his Ric Flair, but still pretty good. Flip Gordon came out second, which should never happen in a world title match. The champion should always come out last. But he came out, and Brandy Rhodes was back.
In a different outfit.
Different outfit. Little less skimpy, but not much.
Ready to put on a show for the USO boys.
Yeah, she was selling the elbow drop she took from Nick Aldis. That's a detail from the match we forgot to mention. Brandy Rhodes froze herself on top of Cody to protect him from an elbow. Somehow this is not a disqualification.
No.
That match, I guess, was no DQ. Because
there was the ref where he was just like, I'm going to keep the match going because I want a winner.
There was at least 3 disqualifiable offenses in that match that I counted.
You just glossed over them.
But this match was a lot of comedy. Jay Lethal did all the Randy Savage and Liz stuff with Brandy. He went to the outside, grabbed her, and walked her over to his corner. He brought her in the ring, put her up on her shoulder like Randy did to Liz. She set her down, and she screamed at him, "I'm not Liz," and slapped him on the shoulder. And this turned him back into Jay Lethal, and he wrestled a little more serious a match from that point on. Flip Gordon did all his Flip Gordon stuff, which is a lot of flips, as the name would.
Cruiserweight flippy. As I say, flippy shit.
Yes, he is a very, very tiny man. He probably goes all of 5'5", and I would generously put him at $130.
Yeah. I do like his All-American Sling Blade.
Yes, that's cool. He has some cool moves. I'm not gonna shit on the guy. I think he's pretty good. He hasn't been doing this very long, so there's a chance he could put together some of the other pieces. But right now, he's kind of a bit of a spot monkey, and they went with the comedy match route for the most part. But there was some good sequences in here. Jay Lethal, back to being Black Machismo, hit 3 Macho Man elbow drops, and then Flip Gordon kicked out and started hulking up, which the play-by-play guy incorrectly said was the Ultimate Warrior thing. I'm like, come on, dude, this is Hogan's comeback. I can do Hogan's comeback and Cena's comeback in my sleep because I've seen them so many goddamn times. He hulked up. He did the point, did the punches, hit the big boot, and then ruined it by going for like a shooting star press.
Whoops. Right at the end. You had it. You had it there.
If someone can send me video of Hulk Hogan doing a shooting star press, I will give you $50,000.
Confidante.
Yeah. But anyway, Jay Lethal cut him off and hit the lethal injection for the win. Or actually, he hit a cutter and then hit the lethal injection for the win.
Yes, that sounds right.
He retains his championship, and then Bully Ray ran out because we needed more Bully Ray on the show.
So at some point during all this, the lights went out for a second.
Was that this match?
Well, no, it was a one. There's a like actual lights out spot later in the match, but later in the card. But like sometime during this, it was like out for a second. It was like a flash.
Oh, I must.
It was a little brown out.
Been looking down at my phone or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. Bully Ray ran out, put the boots to him, and then Colt Cabana ran out, and they struggled, but they got this fucker up for that shield powerbomb, and they put him through a table.
And I loved it. You could hear on the mic didn't pick up the audience for shit, but you could pick up Bully Ray going, "Oh my god, holy shit!" as they slam him backwards through the table.
It was great. They ran him off. Colt Cabana said a few words on commentary and then shuffled off into the night. Then we had the best match on the card. Oh yeah, that match I'll give like 2.5 stars.
I'll give it 3.
We had the best match of the night: Kenny Omega versus Penta El Cerro Miedo. And man, this was a weird match when it was announced, but I thought it would be good, and it delivered. These fuckers beat the shit out of each other. Holy god.
Yeah. Oh god. If you vomited when you fucking took that hit onto the ladder, I vomited when Kenny Omega took the fucking pile driver onto the apron.
The replay, I cringed when I first saw it, but the replay made it look a little bit better. It was still like a pile driver on the apron is a lot scarier than it sounds, because usually it's your opponent's ass hitting first, long before your head hits. But in this case, Kenny Omega's head did in fact hit the apron, but it was not as full frontal as it appeared at first glance. Which
okay, thank God.
Thank God for that, because when I first saw him, like, that man is dead.
Go on.
Yeah, they hit all kinds of stuff. Pentagon hit his finish like 3 times and didn't pin Kenny with it, which kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Yeah. Kenny I swear to God, he ran out of bullets on his gun because he pulled the V trigger about 20 times.
Yeah, that's a thing that's been going on in Kenny Omega matches that I do not care for. We had a discussion with the Mustafa Ali Buddy Murphy match and how many knee strikes I feel is appropriate before it's like, okay, this dude should be fucking out by now.
Yeah.
And Kenny Omega goes way past that number now. And it's worse because that's supposedly like a signature or a finishing maneuver, a move that we're supposed to believe could end a match. But if you hit 20 of them in a fucking match, it really kind of devalues the whole thing. But no one, again, this is some of the hypocrisy of hardcore wrestling fans. People shit all over Roman Reigns for his overuse of the Superman punch. But no one says a word about how many fucking knee triggers Kenny Omega hits.
Fucking weeaboos.
Swear to fucking Christ, they are wrestling weeaboos. And I get just as angry at them as I do actual weeaboos.
Glorious knee strikes. Kicked 1,000 times.
But yeah, so much crazy stuff. At one point, Kenny stole Pentagon's finish and hit it. Pentagon did the arm breaker, but Kenny was not affected. It was not very effective on Kenny.
Yeah.
He still hit the one-winged angel. I've been told he used the opposite arm. I don't think that's true.
I don't believe that, yeah. Force a habit.
Yeah, but he hit the one-winged angel, and there's no kicking out of that because you can hit your finish 3 times if you're Pentagon, but Kenny Omega's finish gets protected.
That's right.
Then the lights went out for a long time, and they came back on, and it looked like nothing had happened.
Pentagon, right, it did look like an actual failure.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Pentagon was laying on the ground, and he got back up, and immediately I'm like, that's not Pentagon, because the tattoos were different, and he was about 2 shades whiter. And then he started moving forward and hit a forearm, and I'm like, that's Chris Jericho. And that's a sad commentary on me that I can tell that's Chris Jericho from how he walks and throws a forearm, but that's the point I'm at in my life right now.
It's a soul read.
Yeah, he started beating up Kenny. He hit a code breaker, and when he hit that code breaker, the place went fucking nuts. And
just going nuts.
Pulled off the mask. People cheered again, said, I'll see you at the Jericho Cruise, and then immediately ran off to Harris Don Callis and get on a plane because his band was playing a show in Kansas City in like 40 minutes.
Oh yeah, who was here? Not Macaulay Culkin. They thought he was there.
Yeah.
Is that Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah, one of the guys. Was
John
Macaulay
Mayer
Culkin. And fucking Don Callis is like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, this was by far and away the best match on the show. I would give this 4 1/4 stars.
I'll give it a good 4 stars. For sure.
It's
like Kenny Omega is good or something.
Yeah, it's like they're both really good. Kenny, you'd be great if you just... I got 2 suggestions for you, Kenny. Cut down on the knee triggers and stop using that Snapdragon suplex because it looks fucking terrible. He puts him in a full Nelson and falls backwards. There's not much suplexing going on there.
Yeah. I don't think I commented on it earlier, but somewhere in these matches, and between this and the other stuff I saw this week, I realized I'm a sucker for pump handle variation moves.
Pump handles are cool.
Yeah. So in the comments, some guys like, I gotta be honest, I don't like any pump handles. I'm like, why? Pump handle powerbomb's good. Pump handle DDT. Pump handle suplex. Pump handle nachos. Pump handle hot dog. It's all
pump
there.
Handle hand grenades. Then we had Kazuchika Okada versus Marty Scurll in a match that was mired in controversy. It went 26 minutes. Marty Scurll claims Nick Jackson told them not to cut anything from their match, and they only went a minute over. I believe that Nick Jackson told them not to cut anything from his match, because from what I've heard, their match was only supposed to go 14 minutes. So, that in mind, I'm sure Nick Jackson's like, yeah, don't cut anything. You're going to go 14 minutes, that gives us plenty of time.
Yeah.
But they went 26 minutes, and they started off real slow. You could tell from the beginning they were building a match that was going to go a long time. And, at the 14-minute mark, the referee started screaming at them to go home. And
I heard that.
And they ignored him, and they ignored him for 12 fucking minutes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this was the match I ended up over the few days I watched this being the least invested in. I was like,
Yeah.
it's just going.
I'm not a huge fan of Marty Scurll. And I'm even less of a fan of him now after his comments on this. And I was like, a lot of people went over. Why is my match only being criticized? Because no other match was the referee screaming at them to go home.
Work together, guys. It's a team effort. If you want to watch a guy who does the finger breaks, just go watch Pete Dunne.
He's a much better wrestler. Yeah, I didn't particularly care for this match. It went a long time. They told a story of how Okada's a lot bigger than Marty Scurll.
And Scurll packed an umbrella. And I'm not going to correct his name. His name is pronounced a different way, but he doesn't get that tonight. I'm not giving that to him tonight. He is the Skrull.
He's the Skrull. Yeah. Like they dubbed him as Kazuchika Okada. I'm like, that's not how you say it. And don't tell me I don't know how to pronounce Japanese. That might be true, but I've heard in an interview the old himself tell me it's pronounced Kazuchika. I think he'd know how to say his own goddamn name. Sorry, I had to get that right.
And Okada's usually good, right?
He's usually great. But this is probably the worst Okada match I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a mark, the dark mark on his career.
Quite a few things about Mr. Skrull.
Yeah.
Like 2.5 stars, just because it was a 20-minute match with a story.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 stars. Skrull gets a half a star, and Kazuchika, that's the one. He gets 1.5. Or no, wait, he gets 3, and it'll average out. That's how it goes.
And then we had the main event, which was cut way short.
Yeah,
because
it was.
of the previous match, which would have pissed me off if I paid money to see Kota Ibushi and Rey Mysterio wrestle, because we got very little of that.
No, yeah, we got the one thing right, sort of at the beginning, at the 3-minute mark.
They hit Rey's music. I don't know if they were supposed to have individual entrances, but they had to condense them together because of how short on time they were. It took a while for them to come out, and I have to imagine that's because they were looking at the watch and going over what they were cutting from the match right before they came out.
Yeah.
So Rey Mysterio, Rey Fenix, and Bandito, who stole the show, in my opinion, came out here, and they wrestled the Golden Elite, and it was a spot fest from start to finish. They were trying to squeeze 20 minutes of shit into a 12-minute match.
Gotta get that value, baby.
And they were 100 miles an hour from the word go. All kinds of flips and dives and stuff. Bandito was super impressive. So was Phoenix, who at one point had a rolling Canadian destroyer. That was pretty tight. Rey Mysterio was crisp as always, although he did looked a little behind the times next to these new fangled luchadors.
Yeah. Strange world.
A lot of his stuff wasn't. It was all crisp and stuff, but it wasn't like mind blowing. Like you had Bandito and Rey Fenix doing all this crazy shit that you're like, how is that possible?
Those catch spots, that was insane.
Yeah, there was a spot where they're like all on the outside taking turns catching progressively more and more insane dives.
Yeah. So it feels to me like the phrase, Shakespeare's cliche. It's like, yeah, Rey Mysterio looks kind of unimpressive because he was one of the earlier big ones that everyone's since has just sort of been building on him.
Yeah. And Rey can still do some pretty incredible shit, especially for his age. He's in amazing shape. He looks better than he has in 20 years.
Yeah, he is in the best shape of recently.
Yeah,
not his life
since he came to WWE. He's in the best shape he's been in since WCW died.
It was
And
good shit.
yeah, this match was, for what it was and what they got in there, it was entertaining. It was a complete and total spot fest devoid of any and all psychology, so a Young Bucks match. They got the win after hitting a bunch of super kicks and a Meltzer driver. So, that's probably the right finish, but I couldn't help watching this and be like, oh, look at that. The Young Bucks booked themselves to go over in the main event of their show. What a surprise.
Self promos.
Dave Meltzer is friends with the Young Bucks, and any semblance of objectivity in his star ratings on this show were completely out to lunch. He gave the main event 4.5 stars, which is a full 1.5 more than it deserves.
Yeah.
Everything on the show, except, in my opinion, the women's match, he rated a full 1 to 1.5 more than it should have been.
Oh, Jesus.
But it's just his opinion. They're star ratings. Like, my star ratings are just as valid as his. I gave this match 3 stars.
Yeah, it was solid. It was nice value. It was good makeup for the Super
May have
Scrolls
been
fuck
a
up.
4.5 star match if they had the time they thought they'd have.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So they won the match. They flew to the announcers. They did the sign off. They cut him off mid sign off, and they went off the air with what I've heard was 3 seconds left on their clock.
Yeah. And they were talking about kicking us off the satellite, kick us off the show.
Yeah, they had 3 seconds. They finished with 3 seconds to spare.
My God.
So that was All In. It was a pretty good show overall.
But with problems.
With problems. It was impressive, and I think it's good for the industry that it was a success. The real test will be if they can do it again.
Right.
We're going to speed through.
And learn from last time is the other important thing.
We're going to have to speed through some of these other reviews here. This is going to be a long episode of Saturn Slam Review.
Scroll, you fucked us again.
Scroll!
You don't deserve to be called Marty. All right, let's fucking power through this NXT shit.
Yeah, Cassius Ohno came out and squashed Kona Reeves real super quick. Kona Reeves, after getting a little bit of a push, now appears to be firmly in the jobber to the stars role.
Yep, and then Cassius Ohno's like, I'm the gatekeeper now.
Pretty much. Next guy comes in here with Buzz. I'm a fucking punch him. So Cassius Ohno and Matt Riddle confirmed next major program. That should be good. That's the potential to be very good. We had the Forgotten Sons versus the Street Profits. It was Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. The new guy whose name escapes me, Jackson Riker, that's what it is, was on the outside. He's got the best look out of the 3 of them, but he's probably super green. That's why he didn't wrestle.
Yep.
This match was
mediocre.
I didn't see anything. My thoughts on the Street Profits are well documented.
Yes.
And I didn't see anything from the Forgotten Sons that was overly impressive.
Mm-hmm. I was watching this with my friend, with Liz, and she was like, I don't like how any of these guys look. They're all so ugly.
So judgmental. Yeah, so they won with a move.
I don't care. I've forgotten.
The Mighty ran in at one point, and I'm watching this match, and I'm like, there's the Undisputed Era, and then there's everyone fucking else in this tag division. They're not even at the level below the level the Undisputed Era are at.
It's just playground children fucking around. The Mighty come in like ski masks, and they're like, I'm gonna steal your bling, because, I don't know, they're like Aladdin at the beginning of Aladdin. They're one step ahead of the bread line here.
Kairi Sane beat Trish Adora. Trish Adora was a jobber. Basically, she didn't get like any real offense in here. Kairi Sane won with her elbow, and what a novel concept of the champion coming out and winning a match in convincing fashion.
Wow, it's great. Although I did also tell Liz, I'm like, okay, so here's how this is gonna go. I've never heard of this lady before, so she's a jobber. I proceeded to explain what a heel was, what a face was, all of this shit, and like right on cue is I'm like, all right, and Shayna Baszler, she's the bad guy, so she's gonna run in at the end and make things bad. And then she comes in and just fucking pushes over the treasure chest.
Yeah, I'm like, she did that. I'm like, someone's got to clean that up.
Yeah. Oh, so I looked in the comments for this, and when Kairi Sane was coming out and throwing the coins at everyone, it was cut from the show, but she accidentally threw the belt into the crowd.
That's great. It did look super awkward because she was like holding the belt in her throwing hand, I guess, and she was like trying to throw the coins without losing the belt.
So it'll probably be on the Botchamania, but
yeah, it was pretty. It was all pretty amusing. Shayna came out. She cut a decent promo. The content of her words is fine, but her voice just makes her sound like a complete cartoon character. She comes out here. She's cutting this promo. She sounds like fucking Cobra Commander, and I can't take her seriously. It's not her fault. It's just her voice. She can't control that.
Like Lady Gaga, she was born this way.
It was like, it's no worse than fucking Ricochet. Oh my god, that backstage segment with him and Pete Dunne. I'm like, get this guy a manager ASAP.
It looks like he's trying to pull the words out of his own brain on the fly.
He is. There's many things he is good at. That is not one of them. And then we had the main event of Johnny Gargano versus Velveteen Dream in arguably the best match I saw all week.
Spoilers. It was good. I was going to text that to you. I'm like, spoilers. The Johnny Gargano match, Velveteen Dream, is good.
I don't want to shock any of you, but Johnny Gargano had a good match in the main event of an NXT show.
All right. Before like we talk about anything, the one thing I remember from this was Dream does it's like a cutter or a suplex on Gargano by the stairs, and he misses the stairs on the way down by a fucking inch. And I'm like, is this man he's gonna just fucking bust his head open here?
He's playing fast and loose with his life sometimes.
Fits right into the story.
Yeah. The story was Johnny was cruising along. They were having a back and forth match, and he was devolving into Tommaso Ciampa, and then he saw a young Johnny Wrestling fan in the crowd, and he remembered who he was, and he went back in the ring, and he's ready to finish him off. No style. He pulled his knee pad back up, and then Dream came up, started calling him Johnny Failure again, and it's like Marty McFly being called chicken. He snapped. He lost all self-control, went for the knee. Dream was playing possum, scooped him up, hit what they're now calling the Dream Valley Driver for the win, and Velveteen Dream gets a big win. So he's being moved up the card for something. I don't know what. Tommaso Ciampa is also a heel, so unless they're going to turn him babyface soon, I don't think that's the match.
Tommaso Ciampa continuing his halftime broadcast from the Comcast Center in downtown hell.
I love that promo for many reasons, and one of them was like the low rent production value.
Yes.
And the other was when he's just like casually listing off like these things. He's like, I'm the NXT champion, I am the main event, I am the video game boy, I am the one who wins. Just all very casually and nonchalantly.
That's great. Oh, and after Johnny lost, it was good. I saw comments on here saying that the crowd was bad and like dissing the NXT crowd. What happened was half of the crowd's like still on his side, like Johnny Wrestling, and the other half's like Johnny Failure, and it's a nice mirror for his inner monologue. He's like, am I a failure or what? He's conflicted, but people in the fucking comments the IQ of a goddamn Cobb salad,
Squared
are out here being
Circle
like, they're
is
so
a
mean. They shouldn't be this mean. Johnny Wrestling is good. Why are they trying to get themselves over? I'm like, it's not. Oh, you
Squared
fucking
Circle
patty melts.
is a cancerous wasteland sometimes. Sometimes there's good stuff on there, but it's a lot of Young Bucks fans and
Wrestling weeaboos.
a lot of wrestling weeaboos and a lot of people who hate wrestling weeaboos and will say things to be contrarian or alarming. And sandwiched in between that, very narrow space, is actual good wrestling discussion.
Thankfully, it's such a high caliber above the rest of it that you can usually tell what's hot garbage and what's like an actual opinion.
If you sort by like controversial, you usually find like the actual discussion because people will wildly upvote and downvote anything they agree with / disagree with.
Yeah.
But we weren't done on this night. We had one more piece of wrestling to watch, and it was
I had
night
forgotten
one
when it
of
started.
the Mae Young Classic. And let me just start by addressing the commentary situation. Holy hell, was it the blind leading the blind?
Yes. It was a fashion show. They were just talking about fucking look at her outfit, and she's just talking about all this shit. I don't care.
Michael Cole at his most Michael Cole, and two women who have very little experience commentating in Beth Phoenix and Renee Young. Beth Phoenix, she had some good nuggets of information in there, but her delivery is just not great.
Yeah.
And Renee Young kind of doesn't have a good feel when it comes in with stuff, so the commentary was a bit of a mess. It wasn't terrible, but it was a bit of a mess. We opened with Tegan Nox and Zatara. They had a nice little match. Tegan, it was clear they had big plans for her. She did end up being injured.
Jeez.
She hurt her knee again. I don't think it was another ACL tear, but she's going to be out for a while. She was planned to go to the finals. The finals were supposed to be, and I'm sorry for the spoilers, but the finals were supposed to be Tegan Nox and Toni Storm. Best of my knowledge, Toni Storm is still the plan to be in the finalist, and she's probably, I would guess, going to win. But Tegan Nox is out. She got injured in a match against Rhea Ripley, and unfortunately they've had to change plans, and we'll see how that all plays out over the course of the tournament. But she looked good here, both like as a wrestler and just in general. And she won with the shiniest wizard.
Yes. She is the shiny wizard.
Yes. It was a good match. They both looked pretty good. Nothing blow away here. And then we had Lacey Lane versus
Vanessa Craven.
Yes.
Who is Ivana Humpalot from Austin Powers. If she were a wrestler.
The exact same thing when she came out.
Like animal.
Lacey Lane is very tiny, and she takes a fucking lifetime to run across the ring. She takes so many steps, and it takes forever. And like, if Rey Mysterio can go across the ring in 4 steps, so can you.
I believe in you. You can do it.
She fucked up the first cool thing she tried. She was bouncing up on the ropes and then fell.
Oh, yeah. Wait, Lacey, I was trying to think of what she looked like. She looks like Ember Moon, but green palette, right?
Yeah. She's
okay,
if Ember Moon is Kitana,
Wolf. Yeah.
she's Jade. That's a match that we'll probably see at some point.
Lacey Lane won. I wanted Vanessa Craven to win because I think she's good. She's much better than Nia Jax. I want her as monster heel from now on.
She's a lot better than Nia Jax. I didn't see anything that overly impressed me from either of them. It's clear that they have big plans for Lacey Lane, Vanessa Craven. They say she's been wrestling since 2004. If that's the case, it's very clear to me why she's at the level she's at. She is perfectly serviceable. But,
she's got Andre the Giant syndrome, where she just sort of walks around, and no-sell stuff and hits things.
Perfectly serviceable, and she fills a role that it's very rare for women. But that's about it. Then we had MJ Jenkins versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley looks not a lot like Charlotte. I don't get
more
this
like
comparison.
Pete Dunne.
I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say it.
It's a good look. Pete Dunne is not a bad looking. She is a handsome woman.
MJ Jenkins was a real firecracker. They had a high energy match. It was a little bit sloppy, and they didn't really do much. But it was a solid women's match that you would see on a Raw or a SmackDown.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley won, and it's clear they have plans for her as well. They put her in the tournament twice, and she goes far, because I'm sure Tegan Nox went far, and that injury happened in a match between the two of them. And then we had Meiko Satomura versus Killer Kelly in the final match, and probably the best match on this show. They went at it. The Japanese women are a lot further ahead than anyone else in terms of their skill level.
Yes.
And that was very apparent here. Meiko, she didn't, I wouldn't say she wrestled circles around Killer Kelly. Killer Kelly was just fine. She actually hit some very neat moves. But she was clearly the inferior worker to Meiko. But they had a good match. And Meiko got the win with a Death Valley driver, and she's moving on. So overall, night one was bad commentary, mostly mediocre wrestling, and we'll see where it goes from here. It's going to be, if it's anything like the last Mae Young Classic, the first few rounds are going to be pretty rough to sit through. Well, they weed out a lot of the girls who aren't quite ready for prime time yet. And then as it gets deeper into the tournament, the match quality will improve dramatically.
I'm trying to remember which match on here I liked. It was like slower. One of these matches was like slower, but I liked it still. I was like,
probably the Satomura Kelly match.
You know what? That's probably what it was. I was like, it's a little slow, but the flow was fantastic.
Yeah, they worked a very, very good match.
Is there anyone else in here that like sticks out to you, of the people who haven't wrestled yet? I mean, Tony Storm, sure.
Tony Storm is going to be big time. Io Shirai is going to be a big star. Yeah, who else is in the Mae Young Classic bracket?
I don't see anyone like sticking out, like maybe Xia Li.
Let's see. Let me take a look at this bracket.
She doesn't even have an article on her on Wikipedia.
Mercedes Martinez, she's good, but she is... It's clear they don't have any big plans for her because of her age. Or else they would have signed her already. Tony Storm, Rachel Evers, Paul Ellering's daughter, she's pretty good. We'll see what happens. Caitlyn is back. She was okay in her first run with the company. Maybe she's improved. I don't know. Rhea Ripley they got plans for Io Shirai. Zia Brookside's also pretty good. I don't know why they matched them up in the first round. But yeah, I don't recognize a lot of these names, but I don't follow women's independent wrestling very closely.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
They are missing, like, they could have brought in a lot of better workers here. They could have brought back Piper Niven. They could have brought in Chelsea Green. They could have brought back Tessa Blanchard. there are a lot of women out there who are better than some of these people that they didn't bring in for whatever reason. So
Makes sense.
they have their reasoning for putting the people they put in, and it will be I feel it'll be a pretty good tournament once we get to like the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I mean that's how tournaments work.
Yeah. The finals, if I had to take a pick, I would say. Oh wait, no, that wouldn't have worked then. Wait, hold on. No, okay, yeah. So since Tegan Knox is injured, I would probably put my money on Io Shirai, who, if I didn't read any spoilers, I would have thought this was a vehicle to get her over to begin with. So my pick for the finals is Io Shirai and Toni Storm. With, I would say, Io Shirai going over. So you could set up Kairi Sane and Io Shirai for Brooklyn 5.
I'm down with it.
All right, so we'll see how it all plays out. Thanks for sticking around for this hour-long episode of the Saturn Slam review. We will be back next week with a much shorter episode detailing that week's NXT and Mae Young Classic. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Peace.